When more than half a country's young population abuses drugs, where is that nation headed? Tramadol, Rofinol, codeine are some of the drugs Nigerian youths have turned to for a quick fix or to get high, as they put it.
While others inhale bizarre substances like dried lizard dung and the stench from pit toilets. But why the sudden need to get high? Well, let's play this report packaged by Adedoja Salam Adeniyi for more insight.
The hunger for a fix of cocaine is what troubles Emmanuel. In the lingo of the local drug world, he is Johnson. Now he's getting a fix to feel good.
Some visitors come to visit my dad. He will send me at times to go and get some drinks, alcoholic drinks in his cabinets in his room. So there and then, I normally take some sip. That was how it started. I started taking cocaine when I was in University of Nigeria. One day, in my 200 level, second semester, I just woke up in school. I decided not to go to school again because then as I had become dependent on cocaine, heroin, and cigarettes with alcohol, I stopped smoking marijuana. These were my 4 major substances I was abusing. The pain and agony and regret and hurt, I can't just, I'm tired of shedding tears. There was a time I almost committed suicide. I sold a property my dad used his last sweat for crying out loud. The only son in the family, the only son who will continue the family name, the lineage. A property worth over 100 million. I sold it for peanuts, 15 million naira. Because of what? The influence of drug. Drug abuse is the worst thing on earth. I call it an evil, international evil conspiracy targeted in destroying the destinies and glory of men and women.
Meet Toyin, a graduate of law. Toyin got into drug due to family pressure. She could not stand her mother's tears of abandonment by her father, but she ended up making her mother cry even more.
I had a lot bottled up. Crack is adulterated cocaine. It's cooked cocaine. That's what I was into. You know, and I stayed with my friend for 2 weeks, and that 2 weeks I went deep into it. I just did not realize it because I didn't know better, and I didn't know what I was smoking was cocaine. It's even worse off because the highness of crack lasts for about 6 seconds, and then you're looking for another hit. Every time I smoke crack, I can see how I feel. You know, I don't know what it does, but it just helps me to open up. I used to sleep with my mother. I used to see her sleepless nights. Sometimes she would wake up, her head would be throbbing from blood pressure, and I would be crying because I didn't know how to help my mother. Like, you know, used to see my mother go through, used to see my mom go through a lot of things, and you know, then I didn't know how to help her. I didn't know how to help my mom. You know, that was what pushed me into trying to get to work early, because I felt if I could just help her in some way, if I could just take away this pain a bit from her. And you know, these are things I can't tell anybody. You know, people used to see me as the perfect child. I was the head girl in my secondary school. I had good grades. I had 7 distinctions in my Y because I always want to make my mom happy. And I felt if I could just, you know, get it right, you know, I could make this woman happy. This woman has done everything just to, you know, just to hold the family together. You know, I used to see my mom cry and say, God, why did you leave her in this situation?
The National Population Commission, NPC, and the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, have put the current figure of Nigeria population at 193 million. Youths constitute 96 million. More than half of the youth abuse drugs. Aside from peer pressure, most abusers, like these ones here, confess to idleness and unemployment, pushing them to take to illicit drugs. They wish to quit, but they say the society is not ready for their reintegration. Adedoja, Salam Adeniyi, TVC News, Lagos.
You have joined us at this time after watching that troubling report, of course, from our reporter. We have Project Officer Response to Drugs and Related Organized Crime, William Wu. Good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. And also with us is Foluke Michael. She's the Project Director of Creative Youth Initiative Against Corruption. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, William, let me start with you. It seems that drug abuse is as dangerous as other insecurity activities going on across the world. Am I correct?
Yes, actually, first of all, when I see these two stories, I feel very sad. In my career, I have seen a lot of things like that, met a lot of people. First of all, I have to say that drug abuse is not dangerous. There are a lot of stigma on these drug takers. Okay. And you can see there are a lot of people, there are a lot of reasons why these two drug takers are taking drugs, maybe because of the family issues or society issues. I have to say they are the victims of the society.
The abusers are the victims, but the abusing it, the act of it, the impact, the implication of it. That is what I'm referring to.
Okay, so actually that's why I said that they need help. Yeah. We have to treat them like a normal person. They just have some diseases or sickness, and that's why we need it. And answering your question, actually yes, and the increasing of the drug use is increasing globally.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Let's even come to the very foundation of this, the issue of accessibility. It looks like everywhere you turn, young people know where to get those drugs. Beyond the cocaine, the crack, and the rest of them, the conventional hard drugs that we know about, they're coming up with more creative ways of getting drugs. Codeine, who would have thought that an ordinary cough mixture would, give you a high? Right. Let's talk about how do you deal with the issue of accessibility?
Well, what we've seen in recent time, it's more dangerous because we're talking about cocaine, heroin, and all of that. Many of the youth, what am I even talking about? Over 90% cannot afford all these hard drugs. They've taken into this creative way of producing a whole lot of mixture, different weed. You have chin-chin, you have crude oil, you have septic tank, sniffing, you have all sorts. It costs nothing. Some maybe like 50 naira. So the situation around is crazy that we need take urgent measure to curb the menace because it's all over, from primary school to secondary school to higher institution. We've been to several schools in the last couple of weeks, and all I can do is to weep for my nation because if an urgent measure is not taken in the next couple of months, the future generation of this country will be right.
Would you say the Nigerian government has been in denial, bringing it back home now? Would you say the Nigerian government has been in denial, knowing that our correspondent, Doja Salam Adeniyi, gave us that report many months ago, even before the other report from an international media organization was released in Nigeria, but nothing has been done. And not until then did you see that somewhat little effort was made in closing down the manufacturing industry. But then, many Nigerian youths are still abusing these drugs.
Let's go back to the government of Nigeria. Do they really have information about what is going on in Nigeria? That's where we have to start from. The statistics you get, it's not comparable to what is happening on the ground. I mean, you need to get to where situation is happening for you to be able to conclude that this is what we have in Nigeria. Yeah. I'm telling you right now that it's gone beyond what you read in the papers. The government, I have not seen anything, basically. Wow. It's better for us to come out the way it is. They need to come like information dissemination because they don't even know what they're doing. The health hazard, I met a guy, we were at Unilag, and the guy told us, walked up to me and went on this campaign and he said, look, drug is good. I said, you mean? As in, the drug use is very good. It's cool. That it was on cannabis, that money, and he was telling me how good cannabis is and all of that. But you know, because we've been trained to talk to those people. And I told him, okay, are you on prescription taking this? And no. I said, you're abusing it. And I could see different attitude.
Yeah.
You know, they go into depression, and of course some are like they just want to get high, and they have different level of, within a 10 minutes conversation, you could see changes in attitude.
Their minds are bent.
It's
more like
it's boggling.
William, let me bring this to you. You said earlier that these people actually need help, but how do you even begin to help them when, I mean, like they say, you can't give what you don't have. If, based on what Folake has said, that government doesn't even know where to start from. So should we leave it in the hands of government to help those people? How do we even begin to bring this help about?
Well, this is a good question, actually. But actually, first of all, I don't agree what you have said that the government doesn't do anything.
Okay.
I think the Nigerian authority or Nigerian government has done a lot of works. And that's why the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crimes are here. Well, with the great support and donation of the European Union, that's why we're here. We're collaborating and working together.
When you say government is doing something, what exactly in concrete terms is government doing that we can see, and we're able to appreciate how it's actually rubbing off on the numbers? Because it's like drug abuse is just on the rise every day.
Yes, actually, maybe we haven't do really a lot of awareness campaign on this issue, but actually the government is really doing a lot of things together, working closely with the UN. And for example, the policy issue, first of all, for the government, we have developed a lot of policy and guidelines for the different agencies. Like FMOH, we have developed standards for the drug treatment and counseling. And for the NAFDAC, we also have developed a lot of guidelines on national policy on controlled medicine, national guidelines on the psychotropic substances. And right now, as we are talking, that we have a workshop, we have collected all some experts, and they are doing the regulations on the drug control. And also, the government is also helping to do how to establish the warehouse for the controlled medicine. These are the good initiatives for which means that they are taking care of the Nigerian government for the benefits. And for example, for the drug, that's why I said that's why we need more awareness campaign to teach the people the correct knowledge on drug abuse and to teach our youngsters. So that's why we also collaborate with CSO, civil society organizations, and that's why we have this lady here, and we do a lot of campaign in the school. For example, in the schools, we collaborate with the Federal Ministry of Education. We have set up the Unplugged program, which is a school-based program. We teach the teachers, and the teachers will do the TOT, training of trainers. So to teach the school students with the correct knowledge on drugs. And this is a kind of preventative measures. So this is all the things we are doing. It's just like society think, oh, drugs is a little bit, when you talk about drugs, you got feedback, scared. But actually, it's just like another different things.
Yes, William. Okay, you just gave us some preventative measures the government has put in place. But what about, let's say, maybe reactive measures, to help those that are already affected? It seems to be the focus of the theme of this year. Listen to the problems with them. First off, you have to battle with the issue of them willing to even talk. To identify that they're drug abusers, because many don't even identify. So what measures are in place or are being put in place? Okay,
actually, we under the EU-funded projects, and we have collaborated with the Federal Ministry of Health, And we set up 11 module centers. And these centers, we use a international standards to set up the regulations. So from intaking, from treatment, from rehabilitation. And we also encourage people to go to the NDLEA counseling centers so that people can get counseled. It's not treatment, but it's counseled. It's psychological counseling. But if you really go to the treatment, you go to these hospitals. And we have the very good expertise on the drug treatment.
And Foluke, I'm wondering, are these centers all across Nigeria?
Yes.
In the Northeast, we hear it really is a dangerous situation with drug abuse. In fact, all across Nigeria. And it has, it's not even about gender. Boys, girls, men and women, housewives, the educated, the non-educated, everybody is getting a high, everybody is getting a fix. Talk to us about, some of the treatments really available for people who are already in trouble, if you can.
There's some questions that are really difficult to answer because we just coming from the field. And the question they ask us is, where do they get help from? Where I'm coming in is the area of government making massive awareness campaign. And they can't do it alone. And that's what we've come forth to give creative way in solving or curbing these problems. Because, look, we could have 100 centers in Nigeria, and then nobody knows where these centers are and what they are for. In fact, the drug addicts feel that they could be arrested. Before we could interview in about 3 communities, we had to go through the community chiefs and all of that to get to them, and took some interview, because anytime you're coming with camera, they're like, oh, they're coming to take them off the streets.
So for the benefit of somebody who might be watching from home and has this problem, whether it's a housewife or whoever, what are the basic steps they need to take to begin to, come out of this vicious cycle? William?
I think, yes, this is a good question. Actually, I think if this person face the reality, okay, face that, okay, my family, we have this problem, I have this problem. So what I need help, then we go to the counseling center and to do that. And also this relates to the people say, oh, I will be afraid of get arrested. Oh, actually don't worry about that, because under our project, we have also training the law enforcement officers about the human rights. And also under our law enforcement, as currently in Abuja, we also teach the NDLEA commanders, local commanders, and the middle managers. And later in the future, we will do to the normal persons, normal staff of the NDLEA, the DPTC, what we call drug prevention and treatment basic knowledge, so that the law enforcement officers, they have basic understanding of what is drug use and how do we treat the drug takers. So maybe they won't treat them like, oh, I will capture them. So from the detainer become the helper.
Okay, well, we'll really have to leave it there. International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking, that is what we're marking today. Sheen William Wu, Project Officer, Response to Drugs and Related Organized Crime. We unfortunately, time has not permitted us to be able to talk about the illicit trafficking side of it, because there's the demand and the supply side, of course. And for Foluke Michael, Project Director, Creative Youth Initiative Against Corruption. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
If you need any help,
please tell us where people can actually go. Yes,
you can go to the website of UNODC, and sometimes we also have the websites from FMOH.
What's the website?
Well, our producer will collect that information from you,
right?
And also NAFDAC. We also have this open information for the whole public on the correct knowledge on drugs.
We have a massive project going on today. We're marking the day with Global Youth in VI, where we're going to be launching a movie. That's Ajose Adeogun, Victoria Crown Plaza Hotel. We're going to be having music, movie, documentary on what we've done the last 8 weeks, and it's going to be massive. And we're releasing that free of charge so that people can have access to the drug.
We appreciate it.